In this video, we have some fantastic Universal news. We also have some not so fantastic Universal news. We're going to break it all down from coast to coast, West Coast, East Coast. It's all Universal today. Up next with VashSky and OG55. Welcome aboard to another episode of OG55 Universal Edition. I got VashSky with me today talking shop. Vash, welcome back, sir.
And I am happy to be back. This was a couple. We've been sitting on one of these stories for a little while. Teased it on the live show, so it's good to go public with that one for sure, which we'll get into in a moment. But there's some other stuff on the horizon. That's very, very interesting as well. So we'll get into all of it. But before we do that, if you guys want to follow me, go and do so right down there at VashSky. Just go ahead and type that in, and it should pop up for, as Christine Wastelands McCarthy would say, for all the
robust
discussion right there. And if you want to see me, it's going to be on the channel you're watching right now at Orange Grove 55, where we have some amazing shows. We just actually recorded... what is it? It was a live show with Story Geeks with Jay talking about everything concerning Guardians of the Galaxy and maybe the Marvel MCU as a whole. The amazing Citrus Corner, hosted by our dear, dear friend and brother George, talking about everything Walt Disney World related. Orange Nerd, hosted by the amazing person to my, is it left? Yeah, left. Where we talk about everything relating to the entertainment industry, C-suite at Disney itself, and all kinds of stuff. You definitely got to join us for those. And my show, of course, Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh, right from the Grove. And I'd be remiss if I didn't use this drop right here, since we are talking about Universal Studios, the entertainment capital of wherever they're located.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's theme park wizard theme song right there. That's his jam. Yeah, that's probably his alarm clock in the morning.
You say that facetiously, OG, but I think you might be right about that.
I think I might be over target on that one. I think that one's pretty close. But okay, let's dive right in. Let's start with the scoop that we teased. With a scoop that we teased earlier, on the live show, and this is from Universal Core, and this is actually some bad news. That's why I kind of want to get out of the way. Mm-hmm. It looks like this is coming from Universal Core, who's a credible scooper, friend of ours.
A lot of people poo-pooed him when it came to the Universal Resort, right? The branding, and then, our good boy Ethan found out, oh, hey, wait a minute, they just filed permits for an 11-story resort on Universal property. Just like some people had predicted in the future. So, you might have problems with Core, okay? We don't. Y'all might. But understand, folks, Core, when he comes up to bat, usually he hits it right out of the ballpark. So might want to listen here.
Yeah, exactly. You don't got to like the guy, but you should respect him because he absolutely is. He has a really good track record with these scoops. So here's the scoop. This is an exclusive from Universal Core. There are rumors, and this is from Core, that Universal Studios Hollywood will be making the Tram tour a separate charge. So it's going to be an upcharge thing. Now, I tried to kind of get a little more detail from Core. Like, does this mean like they're upcharging for special events after hours maybe? And during the day, it's part of the theme park? No. From what Core is saying, this is going to be an upcharge thing all the time. So if you go to Universal Hollywood, you're going to be paying extra for the Tram tour. So personally, I think this is bad news because you have a park that's already kind of seen as a half-day park. There's only a handful of attractions. and then you're taking away one of the longest attractions. I think it's like a 45-minute to an hour experience, and you're taking that away. Now you're having people pay extra for it. I think that's a bad move, in my opinion. We'll see. They might not pull the trigger on this. It might not actually happen. We don't know, but this is what Core is hearing. He's been writing a lot. He was right on those hotels. Remember, everyone, like you said, they were mocking him. What does he know? Turned out there were permits filed, the whole 9 yards. So if he's saying it, definitely listen. But Dre, your overall thoughts on this, if this comes to fruition?
Not a fan. Not a fan of this whatsoever. We have actually, we've seen in the past, like I tried to bring it up before the show, but I couldn't quite find it. There were some surveys and so forth and some rumors talking about potentially the tram tour being a kind of an extra cost item, or I should say even a new vertical, its own product, to be priced separately from the theme park experience in its entirety. Now, we do know that I mean, we say no, but these things haven't been officially announced. No is maybe too strong. We have very good information that suggests that the tram tour loading area will be moved to the lower lot, right? And it would be hard to see that you wouldn't also need theme park access in order to take advantage of the tram services. So it would probably, in this case, be in the form of an upcharge. And don't like it at all. We had heard before, even via surveys, about Universal asking, hey, would you necessarily pay for the tram by itself or as an upcharge with your theme park experience right there? And they were testing the viability of that. I believe that was right before 2020. So that may have put some of these plans on hold, and now they're coming back. We know that the whole resort, or I say resort now, the whole theme park will become a new resort property,
Right.
that will maybe even be a multi-day experience if investment is really shored up by Comcast here in this space, in the kind of Southern California market that they've kind of carved out for themselves. So maybe that has something to do with it. This is an interesting development, and it's really disheartening to hear, because I think with the amount of attractions that park has right now, that really is part of your day experience. Without it, I mean, half day at best, for sure.
Yeah, it's a half day at best for sure. I think this is a move you could make. Like we said, we've been hearing a lot of murmurs, a lot of rumors that they're going to be investing $1 billion into Hollywood, and really expanding this park. Look, maybe after 5-10 years, when you really flesh this place out, you're adding a lot of new attractions and even new lands. And then you can come to the table and sort of revisit this idea of, like, maybe it's the right time now to sort of make the tram tour a separate thing where you pay separate for that, right? And kind of keep the theme park and the tram experience two separate entertainment offerings. That's fine. Not necessarily at face value a bad idea. I just think the timing is really bad. Like, you don't have enough there right now to do that. And mind you, when Core told me this rumor, he said soon. It wasn't like this is like the 15-year plan or the 10-year plan or even the 5-year plan. This is soon. Yeah, I just don't think this park is ready for that. You can't cut one of the longest experiences in that park that's already short on attractions. You can't cut that out or upcharge it without it impacting the overall experience. I just think it's a bad move. Now we'll see. Again, this is what he's hearing. That doesn't mean that Universal can't, decide against it. Maybe they'll backpedal. Maybe they'll be like, you know what, this isn't the right move after all. We're not going to do it. Possible. But I'm telling you, of course, saying it's definitely on the table.
Oh, absolutely. It's on the table, and not even just on the table. It's likely to reach Core's ears, probably being highly considered. So, yeah. If not already approved. But yeah. So I don't like it. I have real problems with it. I think the the studio tour, it distinguishes that theme park experience amongst the other park experiences in Southern California. Without it, it just becomes another park. With it, it truly it lives up to the Hollywood namesake. So I really have strong problems with it. By the way, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to some of the people who are commenting in our live chat. We always say our viewers are above average, right? And sure enough, we did have some comments in there who nailed it to a T. I was actually very impressed with that, and we had to play coy, but I want to go ahead and shout those guys out for sure, because they did a phenomenal job with that.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. All right, that brings us to our next topic, which is Spider-Man, but not the one at Island of Adventure, but one in Japan. We all woke up to some crazy news this morning. And this is from Universal Newsnet, breaking: the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man closing permanently at Universal Studios Japan. Universal Studios Japan has announced the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man will close permanently early next year. Now, Dre, it was kind of funny this morning when I saw this, and I saw that date, January 2024. And this is just, my own fault, right? I saw Spider-Man Ride in Japan closing. I saw January 2024. I'm like, holy shit. Brian Roberts and Bob Iger worked a deal out with the Marvel rights. That January 2024 is when they have to do this Hulu thing by. That's like the deadline. Mm-hmm. My brain went, I was like, oh, it's happening. It is happening, y'all. We are getting the Marvel rights. This is a sure sign. Well, I jumped the gun after talking to our friend Theme Park Wizard, who is our Universal guy. Mm-hmm. He says that this Marvel contract in Japan was not ironclad like the one in Florida. It was only for 20 years. And they are ending the Spider-Man run almost 20 years to the day. So that's what's going on here. This has nothing to do with those negotiations with Hulu, unfortunately. But Dre, what are your thoughts on this, sir?
Yeah, I didn't get too excited because I had heard rumors from Ethan and Core actually before even this announcement was made. I want to go ahead and clarify this is Walt Disney World News Today, where this is coming from. Tom over there gets a little he likes the credit. I'll just put it that way. But Universal Core, I had heard from, and like I said, Ethan from Theme Park Wizard over there, that the rumor is that a Pokemon Dark Ride is replacing Spider-Man. That has actually been in the rumor for a while. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, okay, that's coming to fruition, as they had predicted. Now, I didn't actually realize, though, that is maybe my brain missed a step. That was actually the same date that this kind of Comcast deal had to actually be penned there. That's a very interesting thing. And here's the thing, too. I don't want to poo-poo that idea too much, OG, because think about it. If, in fact, that deal is penned, you'd want to have some contingency to replace the Spider-Man theme at the Islands of Adventure theme park for that kind of simulator attraction, right? So you want some kind of theme to bring in there. And, well, if you have a very similar attraction over there in Japan, and they're already developing a Pokemon theme, which has been, heavily rumored for a while now, well, you can easily bring that over to Florida. And here's the thing: that might have been why they approved such a change in order, so that that could be facilitated in that way. And also, it might have been. Maybe it had the special blessing of Roberts or Shell or anybody, in this negotiation process, because these things, are up for debate right now.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. So that's fascinating. And also, if you even look at Universal Hollywood, it's no secret that Transformers attraction utilizes the same ride system and same technology as Spider-Man. Right. Mm-hmm. Well, look at the placement of Transformers in relation to Super Nintendo World.
It's a very good point.
It's right across the way. So if you wanted to make that Pokemon, Boom. So it seems like Universal has sort of thought this out. This is like the contingency plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's possible, y'all. It's possible. And I've been saying it for a long time. I know a lot of people like to say, well, why would Universal want to get rid of the Marvel rights? Look, on paper, I mean, yeah, why would they? But I mean, they're very limited as to what they can do with Marvel Superhero Island. It's basically like they can upkeep it, they can paint it and maintain it. And that's really about as far as it goes. They will never get approval from Disney to build any new attraction in that land. And Universal, to be honest, has really stepped up their game with the IP. I mean, whether it's their own IP, right? They've been doing much better with that. They bought DreamWorks. They have they have a lot more options now with IP. And even with the licensing deals, you have Nintendo now. I mean, you can do anything under the sun with Nintendo, with it, whether it's Zelda or whatever you want, Metroid, all that stuff. Universal has options now where they don't need to necessarily lean so much on Marvel anymore. They could easily put a Nintendo property like a Pokemon or like some other property on that island and do just as well, and maybe even better, because there is growth potential there if they do that.
Oh, absolutely. I think I mean, just going by the rumors, I mean, think about a Pokemon Island as part of Islands of Adventure. It would do huge business. Like you said, there's a range of Nintendo properties I could easily slot in there. So there's, like you said, there is real potential there. I absolutely believe, but you want to kind of have a contingency. You want to kind of have like, okay, this is Islands of Adventure is kind of the crown jewel over there in Florida, right? Every single island kind of has to shore up its weight. We don't want anything to be cast into irrelevance, right?
Right.
You kind of have to think about these things, and because they can't really modify Superhero Island to kind of adjust it to the kind of the modern sensibilities of comic book films and TV shows and so forth, now it's kind of always gonna stay there in kind of this 90s mentality, and that will wane. That demand for that kind of product will wane as time goes on. Can we kind of do something here? I think they are. I think they're making moves now. I think this is kind of part of it. We'll see what ultimately comes from this, whether or not Comcast can be those Marvel rights can be pried from their dead hands. But we will see. We will see. Also, too, I want to say on the Japan thing, I think we got news today also that Terminator 2 3D and Backdraft were both closing and never to reopen. They closed, obviously, from the events of 2020, and they have yet to reopen, and now we know that those are now permanently closed. So that's kind of sad to see. Always liked those as a kid, but say la vie, on the next thing.
On to the next thing. I'm actually surprised that they even still have those two attractions. I'm not privy as much on Universal, especially not Universal Japan. That's interesting. They still had Backdraft. Oh my God. Blast from the past with that one. But before we move on to our next topic, which is Epic Universe, I wanted to ask you, because it's definitely tied to what we're talking about right now with the Marvel theme park rights and Comcast and Hulu and all that stuff.
Sure.
Did you see, Dre, this comment today from Brian Roberts about Hulu?
Oh. I sure didn't. What happened?
Oh, okay. Give me a second. I'll pull up my screen real quick, and we'll dive into this. This is very interesting. Now, I have thoughts on this, and I know you will as well.
I absolutely will.
I know you will. This is very fascinating. Now, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but we'll see. Okay. So Comcast CEO today says, I think it's more likely than not that we'll sell Hulu stake to Disney. Quote, I think we have a valuable position, Brian Roberts told an investors conference on Tuesday, as the NBC Universal owner potentially exercises a pull call next year. And there he is rocking a beige turtleneck. See, that's a Roberts outfit right there. You see, Iger does the cardigans. Roberts, he does the V-neck. So they both got their little styles here, but this is fascinating though, Dre. And a lot of the trades and like CNBC and all these people they're running with this comment verbatim. Now, it could very well be that this is the case, and that Disney just writes them a check for the $9 billion or whatever, and Disney owns Hulu.
Sure.
But Jay Shear, a host of Story Geeks here on the channel, had an interesting analogy when it came to kind of these public statements from Bob Iger and Brian Roberts, right?
Right.
Brian Roberts is kind of like, and this is all credit to Jay Shear, so I don't want to take credit for it. I just want to let you guys know, but it's spot on. The impression Jay's getting is like, when you go to like a car dealership, right? Mm-hmm. And the car salesman is trying to get you to buy this car, right? And you want it, you're interested in the car, but man, they're coming in too high on that price, right? So what do you do to sort of bring them down? You walk away, right? You have a willingness to walk away from the deal, right? You tell the car guy, well, I don't know if I'm really feeling that Prius anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back. I'm not really sure, right? And that's how you hook them back. We'll come back. We'll shave some money off the top for you. Don't worry, right? Kind of getting the energy with this. Yeah, we'll probably just, have them write us a check and call it a day. Deep down, he wants Hulu, but he's kind of saying it to kind of bring Iger down. It's part of the negotiation process. Same goes for Iger with the shareholder meeting, right?
Correct.
It was very much like, oh yeah, we're totally cool keeping Hulu. This is a great platform. We love Hulu. We're all about it. Again, it's a sales tactic. He's trying to sell it to Brian Roberts like, oh, man, if Iger really wants it, maybe I should grab it kind of thing,
Right. Well, and he's also kind of schmoozing him, too, with the whole Super Mario Brothers compliment, right? So, again, I think we are seeing two sides of the, the dealership customer dynamic here. It's very interesting.
It's fascinating because you have to think about it, too, like, they're in active negotiations right now.
Yes.
Are these gentlemen going to be showing their hand so openly? Like, would they be announcing to the world, this is what I expect and this is what I want? Like, probably not. Like, they're definitely selling something with these comments.
You heard Iger on the call itself, right? He said, I don't want to be too predictive. I don't want to say anything. We're still negotiating. We're still this. We're still that. Why is he saying that? Because clearly, they're still they're actively in that negotiation process right now, and we'll see what might manifest from that. Maybe that Universal Japan story about Spider-Man is in some very distant way very, very related there. The ripples from these actions can have it can look very interesting from afar as it kind of permeates through the system. So
was that
go ahead.
Was that a World of Color 1 reference? The ripples catch a wave?
Yeah, catch a wave. Yeah, catch a wave. They would like to catch a wave of guests who are interested in actually seeing it. My goodness gracious. But that's a whole nother story. However, there is a wave of construction going on happening at what Universal would probably consider their crown jewel property, Universal Studios Florida, with their Universal Epic Universe theme park. Not Universal, very similar to Disney California, not right. Disney's California Adventure. Very interesting.
There must be some like focus group out there that tells these companies that when you get rid of the the apostrophe S, we're more interested.
I don't know what it is. Something. It's weird. The company spent a lot of money to rebrand from Disney's California Adventure to Disney California Adventure. So there must be something there, and that was going to go company wide too. It was going to happen to Disney's Animal Kingdom and Disney's Hollywood Studios, and they eventually scrapped those plans. But very interesting. Anyway, the one and only Mickey Views with Braden over there put out just a remarkable video with so much drone footage. It's insane. I will implore everybody watching, if you want to see the full thing, we won't play the whole thing, but if you want to see the whole thing, definitely check out the channel, because this video is really, really something special, covering aspects of Epic Universe. We kind of wanted to break down a couple of things here. Is that right, OG?
Absolutely. Let's break it down. We'll watch a little bit, talk about it, talk about it. Because like you said, Dre, there is some phenomenal footage in this. Probably some of the best I've seen with Epic Universe. Absolutely.
Indeed. So He talks about Dark Universe and the How to Train Your Dragon areas. I thought we can go over those real fast. So I'll go ahead and let it play here.
Sure.
Next up, we have the land I've been calling Universal Classic Monsters for many of these videos, as that's the theme of the land. Now we actually have a rumored name for the land, Dark Universe. This land, Dark Universe, while lagging slightly behind Nintendo in terms of progress, has really picked up in terms of visible theming in recent months. Taking a look at the entrance portal off of the hub where you head into Dark Universe, you can see...
Hang on. Do we have we got some rock work right here? Like, it kind of looks like a castle right there.
Yeah, that's pretty
cool.
sick, dude. And I'm actually really liking the name Dark Universe. And I like it. First of all, it just sounds cool as hell. But also, it plays into the park's name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like Epic Universe. And then you have the section with the monsters. Now it's Dark Universe. It's kind of like Disneyland and Fantasyland.
Right.
I'm digging that. That's smart.
I like that too. We know that the main e-ticket attraction here is going to be pretty phenomenal, for sure. But let's see if we can distinguish anything.
Look at the entrance portal off of the hub where you head into Dark Universe. You can see just how much theming we are getting here, with lots of rock work in the works as we speak. Rock work in the works, kind of funny sounding. Heading through the portal, work on the village area, which will be home to shops and a restaurant. It is well underway, and the structures for the themed facades on that entrance street, they are coming into place as we speak. The big focal point in the land is a late addition to the Epic Universe plan.
Right. As our viewers might remember, this was originally part of Dark Universe, going to be like a stage show or something, or some kind of theater show, stunt show maybe. Now we're getting a coaster in this space. It's not supposed to be anything substantial, like super big. I believe it's made by Mack Rides, which are kind of, you could think of them as in between coasters, in between maybe something like a, I don't know, Big Thunder or Space Mountain and an Intamin Velocicoaster, right? It's kind of one of those kind of guys.
So maybe like a like, would it be more intense than like a Slinky Dog?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
So you can kind of think of it that way.
Coaster, which is rumoredly themed to werewolf. Also in the land will be a feature attraction for which the details so far are quite scarce, where the manor-style exterior for the attraction, the facade for
large show building there, you can use the vehicles as scale, right? So you have this kind of box truck right here. It's pretty sizable space here.
Yeah.
Action, it is beginning to come into view. You can see all the framing for it here. Next up, we have the progress on...
Okay. Looks pretty good. We know that attraction there, heavily rumored to be, at least, what is it? The Harry Potter and Forbidden Journey type
the Kuka
arm, right? Type technology. So it's kind of why the space is so big. It's supposed to be a premier attraction. And we can kind of see some kind of rough scaffolding and so forth to kind of add into this kind of almost European village Gothic type atmosphere that they'll actually have in here. Very, very cool stuff. A lot of people are very excited about that. So
yeah, that's cool.
Let's see here if we can get to the How to Train Your Dragon, right?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Check out that one.
All right.
Track extends behind How to Train Your Dragon. It has a huge footprint. This
is the cosmic roller coaster right there. That's massive
coaster.
Very
Last
big.
up in our look at the latest happening at Epic Universe today, we have the How to Train Your Dragon land. This land's big feature is a large body of water.
Gotta give it up to these drone shots. These are incredible.
They're incredible.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I know some of the shots are Bio Reconstruct, who's an absolute rock star. And we love you, Bio Reconstruct. If you're by any chance watching this, Bio Reconstruct has been going through it lately with some personal health issues and stuff. We wish you the best, brother, and get well soon.
100%.
Just stay, try to stay healthy, brother. But yeah, they these shot the pictures from Bio Reconstruct, the drone shots, freaking amazing. I'm loving this stuff.
Same.
which will be used for a water-based family attraction. Also in that body of water are two
that water-based
Viking
attraction,
statues.
by the way. It's kind of like it's interesting. It's like everybody's kind of on a boat. You can think of it as like a tugboat, pontoon boat, whatever, and you have like water cannons that you shoot water from the boat side, and then people on the shore can shoot water back at you. So that's kind of the thing there.
That's interesting. I think they have something like that at Legoland, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, yeah, it's kind of similar to that, and that kind of gives you a feel for what this kind of land is appealing to in terms of demographic, right? It's kind of a Legoland-ish type demographic right there.
Attraction. Also in that body of water are two Viking statues featured in the franchise films, one of which has now received its paint and looks quite colorful there. In the future, all that concrete you see, that'll all be hidden below lots and lots of water. That whole area, it's going to be filled up with water. So the statues, they are going to be sticking out of the water. There's going to be a coaster whisking right by it. Very close to Starfall Racers is the more family geared How to Train Your Dragon coaster, which runs all
real quick, Dre,
over
pause this for a second. Now, he mentioned Starfall Racers, and I believe is that the one in the background that we saw, the yellow and green?
Yes, that's a large coaster there. It's
we
not
know
really necessarily in a land.
Do we know what that, like, what kind of, I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be constellation themed, I guess, based on like, because I know Epic Universe, like the hub and all that is very much themed to the stars. So I guess it's going to be kind of themed to that kind of thing. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder how they're going to do that. That's weird.
I do wonder myself, probably light theming if I had to guess. It looks pretty light in the concept art. They might have maybe a show scene that's maybe indoors, hopefully, but I think this is going to be just a kind of an outdoor coaster and a little bit more on the generic side when it comes to the quality of theme. However, it is supposed to correspond with the general theme of the overall theme of the park, which is kind of constellation based. I know there's I think there's references to either Greek or Roman mythology when it comes to the various titans or gods there. And that's why it's called Universe, right? Not necessarily Universal, it's universe themed.
Universe. I would kind of like to see if they do like a show scene for this in particular, like a Jules Verne like observatory style.
Oh yeah,
it'd be kind of sick, bro. You know.
Well, you know, now you're speaking my language when it comes to like the old, the original Space Mountain in Disneyland Paris. Oh,
yep.
Just absolutely fantastic. We'll see if it comes anywhere close to that. It will be more intense, though, probably for sure.
Oh yeah.
And it's
this coaster right here that you're seeing in the foreground. It's supposed to be a smaller coaster for a good Slinky Dog is a good amalgamation.
Your Dragon coaster, which runs all over the land. It's a little reminiscent to Slinky Dog Dash that you have over in Toy Story Land, where it sort of runs around the land, except this actually covers more area by the
Pause it real quick, Dre.
Also in this land...
Oh, go back just one more shot.
Runs around the land, except this actually covers more area.
Pause it right there. Now, do you see that circular cement slab up on the very top?
Yes, part of the hub.
That's the hub. And from what I understand, that's actually a giant fountain. Is that correct?
Yes, that is. I mean, if you look at the concept artwork, you can kind of see like in front of the hotel area, there's like a big kind of almost looks like a basin from the sky. But it's supposed to be a fountain show. And
that's cool.
It might correspond with fireworks up in the air. Very, very interesting, cool stuff to have that be such a prominent and defining feature for this park, rather than just kind of a tacked on add-on as we've seen with maybe other Universal theme parks before. Very, very cool.
That's cool.
By the looks of it. Also in this land is the Great Hall Restaurant, which is now fully enclosed.
Now that will be really, really cool. This I'm very excited for.
In previous updates, the columns inside the Great Hall were visible. Now it is all inside that structure with work happening inside. And there's also still a lot of work to happen on the outside of this restaurant, which will be receiving.
Imagine a Norse Viking type eating atmosphere. theme to the nines, like you would say maybe Harry Potter quality of theming. It sounds totally epic, very, very cool, and a lot of fun.
That's cool.
A distinctive facade. And there's also another attraction which isn't mentioned a lot with this land. There's rumored to be a Skyfly attraction that'll be inside of the How to Train Your Dragon land, which, as you can see, looks pretty thrilling. That looks pretty crazy. So everyone, that's your latest look at...
Very cool.
That's very, very cool. Now, here's the thing. That attraction, I honestly, that one I probably would never go on, because I'm honestly not a thrill junkie, but the ride system seems to work with How to Train Your Dragon. They fly those dragons in groups like that in the movie. I can see them theming this and making it make sense in the.
It's kind of a cool thing. The whole kind of design conceit of the land, because it's How to Train Your Dragon. It's really kind of how to train you to ride a dragon. So all the kind of elements here are supposed to kind of prepare you for, riding your dragon. So this is part of it, and that's kind of cool.
Now, one thing I do want to bring up before we close out, if you can go back to the Harry Potter segment, because there was an element of that that I thought was very, very, actually pretty creative in how they kind of worked around the lack of popularity for Fantastic Beasts. Let's check that out for a second, because the way they handled that was fascinating.
We have the latest on the Wizarding World of Harry Potter themed land. This land is a little odd in that originally it was believed that the entire land would be themed to the Fantastic Beasts franchise.
Yeah, there was some trepidation with that, even amongst fans. It's like, really? I'm glad to see that they have pivoted.
Our theme to Paris and all sorts of things like that. And there are a lot of folks on our videos when we were talking about this saying, I don't really want that. I prefer the original Harry Potter stuff. And what happened is as construction moved along and we got more details, it started to seem like this isn't so much just a Fantastic Beasts themed land. The streets are still believed to be themed to Paris, the stuff that is featured in Fantastic Beasts, but the land's main attraction is said to take place inside the British Ministry of Magic. How does that make any sense, right? You're on Parisian streets and then you go into the ride and you're in London. How does that make any sense? Well, new permits show that the long-rumored Flu Network setup for this attraction, where the story will be you travel from Paris to London via fireplaces, as is done in the films, where there's the harmless green flames and then you show up in another area. You're going to actually show up in the British Ministry of Magic. That's how you'll travel from the Parisian streets to London. They'll be using that Flu Network setup, which sounds really, really cool.
That's a great little thing right there.
I thought that was really, really creative. And you can tell that was something that they changed, maybe not, I don't want to say last minute, but as the movies were coming out and as they were flopping, Universal Creative and they probably had talk with J.K. Rowling and the Fantastic Beasts are not really hitting, they're not really resonating. How can we go ahead and change this land where we can incorporate the core films, but without breaking our bank, right? Because a lot of the R&D was probably done for that Fantastic Beast land. So to go start over would be very expensive. And I thought this was a really creative way to sort of basically save you from throwing away money and kind of incorporating both. I thought that was really clever. And it kind of gives me hope for maybe Disney can do something like that with Star Wars and its timeline for Galaxy's Edge and things like that. Maybe use the World Between Worlds or something to sort of give us that option to kind of go into these different eras and stuff. There's potential there, but I thought that was a really, really, really creative solution. Well done, Universal.
Yeah, because the urban Parisian kind of architectural features are really quite cool, but it's that kind of Ministry of Magic iconography from the films that is just so fantastic. So the merging and blending of these two kind of ideas, I think it presents something very unique for Universal's take on the whole Harry Potter universe. I think it's a really kind of cool idea. Like you said, it really is creates a tremendous opportunity in terms of creative vision for these Universal creatives. And a lot of potential for this kind of idea to be, maybe examined by Disney and have them do their own spin on it. With a myriad of franchises, whether it be Star Wars, Marvel, or otherwise. So very, very cool. Cool that you pointed out there. I think it's definitely worth taking a note on.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And Dre, I want to thank you, brother, for coming on, talking Universal with me today. A lot of great stuff. I also do want to shout out again, Universal Core. I'm telling everybody at home, do not sleep on this guy. He knows what he's talking about. And, keep an eye out for the Hollywood Tram. Just keeping your eye out on that, because that is something that
if he's saying those complaints in Fast and Furious.
Yeah, put those complaints in Fast and Furious, because I've been telling my audience. I told Dre this. I mean, like, that tram tour is like the highlight of every trip when I go to Universal. I love that tram tour. I love the education factor of it. It just, that movie magic. It's a great experience, and that would be really sad to lose that. Not lose it, but kind of lose it with it being a separate ticketed thing. So hopefully, Universal, if you're watching, please reconsider that. That's just not the move. At least not right now.
Yeah, not right now. The park as it stands without the Universal Studios tour, like I was saying before, like half day at best. Half day at best. We just got rid of a couple of show experiences, like the Animal Actors show, for example. I know there's going to be like a mini Animal Actors show that's going to be set up, I believe, in the entrance pad for Universal Studios Hollywood, and obviously the behind the scenes effects show. I mean, those really kind of added to your day in profound ways. Without those, Fast and Furious will actually come in, but we might lose more, gain more in some areas. It's going to be a while until this park is fleshed out. Maybe as many as 10 years. We'll have to see. But then to extra costs in between there, I don't like it. It's a little messy. Universal, please reconsider this. This is one step too far. And if they do this, I'm telling you, I might be much more critical when it comes to Universal going forward.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this is the thing I've been saying for like a while now with like Universal like with their theme parks, they've been kind of like in market share mode, Yeah. So when you're in market share mode, you keep prices low. I mean, even Bob Iger did that with Disney Plus, right?
Correct.
He priced it to gain market share. It was one of the cheaper streamers at the beginning because he wanted to get everybody in, right?
Yep.
Universal doing the same kind of approach though with theme parks, but you got to understand that once they gain the market share that they feel like they're in a good spot, they're going to try to start doing this stuff that Disney does. So we all have to be, as fans, hard on Disney when they try to screw us over, but we also have to be hard on Universal now, because now they're getting to a point, Universal is, where they're going to start reaching that threshold where they're happy with their market share, and they're going to start trying to slide this shit in there. And we just got to be very vigilant. But yeah, hopefully, and this is one thing, credit to Universal. And actually, I months ago had a video with Wizard on this, and I think he's right. Universal is very good, though, to their credit, of listening to fans and sort of reversing if something isn't working.
Right.
They do that quite a bit. So we'll see. We'll see if they get enough outcry, or the word on the street is that fans don't like it. Maybe they'll change their mind. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. But Dre, I want to thank you, brother, for coming on today, talking Universal with me. If you can let everybody home know where they can find you on social media, sir.
Best place to find me is going to be at VashSky on Twitter. It's right down there. Just go ahead, pop that in, and it should come up for, as Christine Wastelands McCarthy would say, for all the
robust
discussion right there. And if you want to see me, well, it's going to be on the channel you watch right now at Orange Grove 55, where you can see my show, Freshly Squeezed, your source for juice, news, and info, squeezed fresh, right from the Grove.
Orchard fresh and delicious.
There we go. And thank you all so much for watching. Comment down below with all your thoughts on the Tram Tour rumor, on Epic Universe, on Spider-Man in Japan, Disney and Comcast going after the Hulu thing. Like, what's going on here? Is there like some major poker face, or is it just, hey, Disney's going to write that big fat check and call it a day? What are your thoughts? comment down below, and as always, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye, everybody.
フォースと共にあらんこと